is recognized to speak to the bill. Representative Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Well, I stood here last year about the same time for the same purpose, and that is to oppose this House Senate Bill 233. Clearly, it's a bad bill. It's simply a bad bill. And I know that it has good intentions. I know that the folk that authored the bill, I know your heart is in the right place, but I think we're taking the wrong method to do this. And this idea of providing families with more options for their children's education, it may seem appealing on the surface, but this bill ultimately, what it does is perpetuates inequality in our educational system. And frankly, I'm not swayed by the promise of teacher pay raises or kindergarten improvements if it comes at the cost of defunding our public schools. Why don't we instead invest in our public school education system, supporting policies that promote equality, equity, and fairness for all students? It is clear who this bill serves. It serves the wealthy. We all know that school vouchers primarily benefit families who can afford to supplement the voucher with their additional funds, leaving lower income families at a disadvantage. This does is create a haves and have-not system, a two-tiered system where wealthier families are able to access better education opportunities, while those who are already marginalized are left with fewer options. As a matter of fact, they are only left with one option. It is leaving the least and the less behind to fend for themselves. It's not a myth. It's clearly diverting public funds toward private schools through vouchers, taking resources away from our already underfunded public schools, and this aggravates the achievement gap and further widens the disparity between schools in the affluent neighborhoods and those in low-income communities where I come from. These disparities are too numerous to list, but just one of those is that the advantages that we're giving private schools is they will receive taxpayer funds but can refuse a student's access without any qualifications. Public schools cannot do that. So instead of supporting policies that increase disparities in our educational system, we ought to be investing in our public schools, putting this voucher energy and resources that I have seen for the last two sessions, ensuring that every student has access to a higher quality education, regardless of their socioeconomic status. I urge my fellow legislators to reject Senate Bill 233 and prioritize equity and fairness in our educational policies. We talk about evidence-based policies and bills. Where is the evidence that this will work? I close with Proverbs 22:16. It says, oppressing the poor in order to enrich oneself and giving to the rich will lead only to loss. We must not allow these policies that benefit the wealthy at the expense of the poor to stand. I urge all of us to vote no on Senate Bill 233. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I yield back to Will.